Hello, classmates. I hope your day is going great and that you've enjoyed my desktop of a beautiful mountain here. Let's go ahead and get started with some web stack development. So my presentation is full stack web development. So we're gonna just talk a little bit about what it means to be full stack. Probably shouldn't highlight my presentation. So, just to review, computers have hardware, that's kind of the actual structure of the computer, and then they have all of this software. Those are, all of the things that is not a physical component of the computer, like the motherboard, and anything that isn't a physical component is software. It is a physical component, it is hardware. So essentially, full stack web development has everything to do with software. And that's obviously pretty general. So we are going to kind of dive into the different aspects and different types of careers you can have with software. So I found this image. It may be copyrighted, but this is fair use. Because it's an educational thing. I found it on this website, this D-Zone Web Dev Zone. Honestly, it's kind of a cool site, so feel free to look at it. But anyway, they had a really nice graphic that I liked a lot, so we're going to talk about it for a minute. So we have full stack development that encompasses all of these things. This first one here, the front-end development, that'll be fairly intuitive to anyone in this class. That's dealing with things that the user sees. That's why this class, we've been focusing really heavily on CSS, and we've done a bit of JavaScript. HTML isn't on here because they assume that HTML is a given. And then this stands for single page application. So that's all with front-end development. These are the foundation of front-end development, and then there are more specialized languages and practices here. Back-end development, that's all about the functionality of the websites, being able to connect to any databases you have, being able to, get all of the different parts of your system to talk to each other. And there are, some programming languages here, Python, Node.js. PHP is actually often considered front-end development, so it's definitely an awesome one for a full-stack developer to have. There are some languages here that deal specifically with databases, especially MySQL is a pretty popular one. Mobile app development, developing apps is just different enough that it's its own category, and there are a lot of best practices and kind of patterns around how to build apps. So they have a couple of things here that you need to learn. DevOps is kind of, I guess, the odd one out of these 5 categories. DevOps is a compound word for development and IT operations. So here we have some acronyms, and these are actually more about kind of philosophy. Like CI stands for continuous integration. It's the idea that you are constantly integrating your development and your operations, so you want it to be more seamless. So these right here are more, I guess, ways of thinking and schools of thought on how to go about accomplishing all of these other things. Okay, so that's why DevOps is a little bit different. These 3 right here are the most technically heavy. the mobile app developments, it's kind of, once you've learned about this, you're able to kind of pick up mobile app development, unless you're going in really specialized things. So that's kind of an overview of the world of development. Obviously, there are a lot of things here. Not every full stack developer knows every single one of these, especially these more specialized skills. So if you're feeling overwhelmed here, just take a deep breath. What I did is, now that we've reviewed kind of the different categories within full stack development, I went to Indeed, because who doesn't go to Indeed? And I looked at some job descriptions, okay? So it's okay if we don't know all of the alphabet soup in here. That's not the point. What we're trying to do is determine whether this person is wanting more front-end work, back-end work, database work, or if they want an even amount of all three things. So in this particular job, they're wanting, PHP, so that's the interface of front and back-end development. JavaScript is usually considered front-end. HTML5, that's just, I'm not actually sure why that's there. That's just kind of expected. React, SQL, so we will be doing some databases. Perl is a scripting language, and we have some other programming languages here. So this one is fairly evenly distributed, with perhaps a little more emphasis on the back end here. So that's one example of a full stack web developer position. Let's look at the other one. This one is actually in Utah. It's for someone who's a little more experienced, but let's kind of look through. So again, we see PHP, so that's right at the interface between front and back end. We see so HTML, CSS, so most of this is front end. Oh yeah, SAS is definitely front end experience. Technical and command line, capital server, that's probably going to be considered back end. Oh, look, we have our SQL again, and Salesforce is a codeless programming thing that's all about databases, and it's really coming into play here. So these are two examples of full stack developer job descriptions. Notice that not every single thing that is in this diagram is on this job description. So if you're considering a career in full stack development, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, you should keep in mind that you don't need to know every single one of these. You just want to be relatively even in your skill set, and you want to focus more on your learning technique, I guess, being able to pick up new things quickly. And full stack development is typically, like, if you're going to be a full stack developer, you'll typically work at a slightly smaller company. Startups have almost exclusively full stack development, like kind of have the one-man show type thing going on, just because they aren't big enough to have specialty, have people specializing more in any of these things. So that's kind of an overview of full stack web development. It's essentially an overview of the world of computer science as we know it today. And I hope that this has answered some of your questions about what full stack development is. Thank you very much.